My two favourite tools in Photoshop when creating composites are the Harmonize tool and the Rotate object tool. These tools make the composite process so much easier compared to when I first started years ago. Back then it was matching perspective, positioning and blending the elements together, and it'd take a lot of time. The Harmonize tool helps blend colours, lighting and tones more naturally to your elements, while the Rotate object tool makes it easier to adjust positioning, perspective, and so your elements sit more realistically in your scene. Together, they can really speed up your workflow and help create more believable composites with less frustration. Let me show you how I use both of these tools in my workflow, and more importantly, let's have some fun. I've cut out this little munchkin and placed him on the books, and I chose him for a reason, because he easily can fit into a position where he's sitting, and that's what I want to do in this composite. Normally I would have to play with the warp tool to get the legs bent, but he just looks perfect sitting there. But I want to give him a little bit of an angle, change his perspective, and this is where I use the Rotate object tool. Now, when I click onto that layer, you'll see the contextual taskbar down here on the bottom, and I always have that open on my screen. If you don't, easily just bring it up by going to Window and then looking for contextual taskbar. And I like to have that on all the time, particularly with the kind of work that I do. So now how can I get the Rotate object tool? What you can do is just do Control-T or Command-T. Then you'll see the Rotate object appear. And I'm going to click on that, and I'll let Photoshop now get the Rotate object tool for me. You can see now that the transform box has changed, and it's got some options that we can play with. We've got this here now on the left-hand side. We've got one down the bottom and one on the right. But what do they actually do? I can choose rotate, I can choose tilt. So for example, if I want to rotate, there's two ways that you can do this. I'll come up here to this handle and I'll just use the up arrow to give it a little tilt or an angle. Now, I'm not looking for a perfect position at the moment. I'm just showing you what you can do. Now, for this angle, that can work if you want to sit him on top of the books, right at the top there. I'm going to bring that back down and get him sitting there. The other way is if I click on rotate, I get a slider, and you can move that slider the way you want. Now, have a look at what's happening. I've been waiting years to have something like this in Photoshop. Look at the angle. Let's say I want to give him a side look, a little bit jaunty there, and I can position him exactly where I want. I'll click on the rotate tool, and then I'll use that slider to maneuver him around, and have a look. How fantastic. Let's say we're just going to put him there, but maybe I want to give him a little bit of a tilt. So I'll click on the tilt, and again you have that slider, and you can tilt him any way that you like, or to get him to fit into your scene. Now, the tilt handle is this one down here at the bottom. If I click on that, I can see tilt and rotate in the contextual taskbar. The other one over here is where you can change the perspective. And this can give some interesting effects into your composites. So I'm going to click, hold and drag, and I'm going to move it up, and just to see what I can get with that. It's a tricky little thing on the arrow. It has a mind of its own. But let's have a look. If I drag it down, I make it smaller. I can actually make him bigger. So I can, adjust the sizing on that. Let's position him over here a little bit more. Now, you've still got the options here where you can get your handles and you can alter that. Left or right, you can widen it, you can move it around. I'm just playing to show you, don't be frightened to actually play with it because you can get some really interesting effects. But I've got him sitting there, but what happens if I actually want to put him up here? So what I'm going to do is go, no, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to click on cancel, and now he's back into his position. I want to play with that rotate object tool again. To get that, I'll do Control T or Command T. There's the rotate object tool, and then we're going to position him at the top of the book stack here. And this is where the rotate object tool can really be a useful tool when you're wanting to work or change your perspectives. Bring him up here, and I'll get him to sit there. Now I want to size him down, so I'm going to use the corner handle and bring him right down. We'll zoom in a bit. Now, I could position him there. Look where he sits, perfect, on that little bookshelf. Well, I call it a bookshelf. But what can I do with the rotate tool? So let's tilt and see what I can do. I can actually get him tilting forward. Whoops, a little bit too much, but I'll drag him down here. Maybe I want to tilt him back. Let's tilt that back so he could look like he's sitting on top of a mountain and he's just looking down. What happens if I want to rotate him? I'll click on the rotate and then I'll use the slider. Now I can get an angle. That doesn't work for me, but for someone else in a composite, they may be exactly what you're after. Have a look now how he's just actually rotated, which now means I can sit him here or I could sit him up here. And again, this is why I chose this little munchkin, because he's got his legs in the perfect shape to actually sit on these books and look natural in the composite. Let's make him smaller. I'll grab a corner handle, drag it down, positioning up here. And I think, oh, hold on a minute. I'd like him to face the other way. So do I tilt him? Do I rotate him? Let's go and click on tilt and let's see if I can get another angle. And I go, oh, that could work. Let's move him down a bit. I might use the rotate tool now and get him back that suits this position where I've put him. I'll move him over here. I'll make him smaller. And I think I'll put him back down here on that little shelf, make him bigger, position him again. The rotate object tool is absolutely fantastic when you're doing composite work. It just gives a different dimension of working with your elements or your objects. It's a fun tool to play with and can open up so many possibilities when you're creating composites. The next thing that happens is, how do I blend that munchkin into the background? How can I make him look like he's just sitting there? Now, there's a couple of little tips that I'll give you. One, I will sometimes choose a character like this or an element or an object that's got similar tones that I don't have to work as hard to colour match. So if I zoom in and you can have a look, he's got the brown, he's got the blue in his jacket and his tie. Not only did I choose him because his legs were bent, but I also chose him because of his colours. If you look at the colours of the background, very similar, the browns and the blues. And this is where I can really blend my images together, or my composites, by making those particular creative choices. But what I want to do now is get him to blend in with the background. What I'm going to do now is use the Harmonize tool. The Harmonize tool helps blend elements naturally into your composite by adjusting the colour, lighting and tone to better match the surrounding image. It can save a huge amount of time when trying to blend different elements and make them feel like they belong together in the scene. But it uses generative AI technology, which also generates new pixels in the image and uses generative credits during the process. And the reason that I've brought that up is that some people can't use the generative AI technology in their composite work because of this. I'll also show you another way where you can use the Harmonize tool where it doesn't generate the pixels or use generative credits. The first way I'm going to show you is where it does generate pixels, but if you're not worried about the generation of pixels, this is a fabulous tool to use. It does a lot of the work. It also puts shadows in some of your objects or your elements and can save a little bit of time. But what I'm going to do is click on the layer that's got my little munchkin, and now you can see the contextual taskbar and it's got Harmonize. And I'm going to click on Harmonize and let Photoshop do its work. Now, what it does is it's generating 3 versions and it looks at, well, what would be the best one that would work with the little munchkin to the background. And sometimes it gets it spot on, sometimes it doesn't. You've got to do a little bit of disguise work, but this makes your workflow so much faster. So there's the first one it's generated, and I'm not too fussed on it. Let's click on the second one. That can work a little bit better. I'll go the third one just over here. I actually think that's probably the better one. So what I'm going to do is go, yep, I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to go close the properties panel down. I feel it's a little bit dark. And what I'm going to do is the disguise work, a little bit of a quick fix on that. I'll click on that layer. I'm going to get my levels. Now you can use levels, curves, brightness and contrast. It just depends what you want to do with this element. But I'm going to choose levels, puts an adjustment layer there. I'm going to come down here and make it a clipping mask. And then what I'll do is get my midtone slider and just play around. You can actually see, look at the shadow that it's put in there. Now I'm going to reset that and click on auto and actually see what it does. Not a bad job. Now for my eye, that's working in with the background, because by the time I put other elements in and I do some color grading, maybe add a texture, this will work in, or my little munchkin will work into the background and looks like he just belongs on the books. But the next way I'm going to show you is one that I've been using for years, and this is how I would colour match my objects or my elements. The second technique is where I will use a filter. I'll go up to Filter on the menu. I'll choose Neural Filters. Then what I look for is harmonization. I'll turn the slider on. I'll come and select a layer and I select the top layer. Now I can play with strength, I can play with saturation, brightness if I choose, but I'll leave it as is. Click on OK. And then what I'm going to do is just come over here onto the layer stack, and you'll see now there's a smart filter. And that is the actual neural filter harmonization. I'll turn that eyeball off and you can see it's just made a small adjustment. But that's the one way that I've been doing it for years. And as a recap, it doesn't use any credits or generates pixels. That's an alternative way of doing it for you. When I first started creating composites, a lot of this process was done manually through trial and error. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and sometimes you just gave up. Tools like Harmonize and Rotate Object can now help simplify parts of that workflow and giving you more time to focus on the creative side, or what I call the fun side. They won't replace the creativity or good compositing techniques, but they can definitely help speed up the process. The key is understanding when and how to use them as part of your creative workflow. Have fun being creative.